Yo, Kelpieone here on Stainedglasscuts. Today I've got a fun design that uses recycled hard drive platters. I call it Disco Hard Drive Mobile. Hard drive platters are super flat and mirrored on both sides. Older ones are made of aluminum and the new ones are made of glass. This is an aluminum one. I use the aluminum ones as they're easy to drill. All of them come with minor surface scratches and blemishes. That's no problem. Okay, the materials I'll be using. A number 4 stainless steel fishing jump ring, a number 6 jump ring, 8 3 3/4 inch aluminum hard drive platters, 2 12-inch long 1/16 diameter stainless steel rods, 10 number 3 stainless steel barrel fishing swivels, and approximately 20 inches of 18-gauge steel single jack chain. Here are the tools I'll be using. A drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit, rib nose pliers, I'll be using my grazing pliers, round nose jewelry pliers, a file, bail making pliers, a diagonal cutter, a silverware knife, a Bic whiteout pen, a compass, and a ruler. When you buy recycled platters, you can get them for less than 50 cents a piece. I bought 120 for about $50. They came in 3 different thicknesses, kind of a skinny, a mid-sized, and a thicker one. And of the 120, only 3 were glass. The first thing I did was to sort them all by thickness. And I'm going to be using the mid-sized ones. They need to be the same because otherwise the mobile won't balance. First, I'm going to place a mark 1/8 inch in from the edge of all 8 platters. I'm using my whiteout pen so it shows up in the video, but I recommend using a fine point Sharpie. For one thing, the Sharpie won't smear. Now I'll drill a 1/8 inch hole in each. By pressing down firmly when I start, I can keep the bit from walking around and marring the surface of the platter. And I'll repeat for the other 7. Now, using my compass and a piece of cardstock, I'll draw a circle just slightly larger than my platter. We're doing this because we need to make a hole on the opposite side of 3 platters. So once I have my circle drawn, I'm going to take my Sharpie and take the middle point of the circle and draw a line through it, extending it slightly beyond the circle. Now what I'll do is I'll be taking one of our discs that has a hole in it, centering it in the circle with the line going through our existing circle, and with that, I'll mark the other side of the circle. And I'll repeat for 3 of our circles. This is because these three are going to have discs above them and below them, or a hanging chain. Again, centering it in the circle and making sure that our line is cutting through the center of our existing hole. Now that I have all three marked, I'm going to come back and measure 1/8 of an inch into the disc. I'm going to switch to my Sharpie here. And then I'm going to take my drill and drill the second hole. Now once I have the first disc done, kind of a little trick, I don't really need to mark the other side. I can merely line the two discs up with the holes. And drill our second hole. Once I've got the first hole lined up, and the disc square, I can make my second hole. So we have three of our discs with two holes. Now for the arms. When I was developing this design, I used three 32nd inch brass rod, but I didn't like the contrast between the mirrored surfaces and the swivels and the brass. So I found the 1/16 inch stainless steel rod. Works great, but it's really tough to bend. So I tried 1/16 inch aluminum rod, but it was too soft. And then I said, well, okay, I'll get 1/8 inch aluminum rod because it's nice and sturdy and strong, only to find out that the swivels wouldn't fit. So if you get 3/32 inch aluminum rod, my guess is it would work and be easier to bend. But onward. I've already made one of my arms, and here's how I did it. First, I measured 10 inches on my stainless steel rod, and then cut it off and filed the end flat. Next, I marked the middle at 5 inches, and then taking my bail making pliers, I put a double loop into the middle of the rod. And as you can see, this stuff's pretty tough. So I bring it around till I line it up, and then I flip my bail making pliers over and put the second loop in. And once I've got my double loop in place, I'll put 7mm hanging loops on each end. Straighten up my loop. And there you have it. There are our 2 hanging loops. On to assembly. If you want details on how I made these loops, you can check out my video, How to Make Mobile Arms. Now, taking the chain and using my jewelry pliers, I'll make 3 lengths of chain that are 12 lengths long. Bending them open just enough to get them off. Then an additional 8 single links. Okay, now that we've got that done, using 7 of the single links, I'll attach a swivel to the 3 2-hole platters and 4 of the 1-hole platters. I'll use the existing slightly open link, the swivel, bending it closed with my grazing pliers, and then I'll open the other link up into a U. The U will allow me to put the disc on the platter. And we'll repeat for the remaining discs. So we've got our 3 2-hole platters and our 4 1-hole platters, all with swivels. That leaves us 1 1-hole platter without a swivel. Next, I'll open the end link of each chain into a U. And taking my 2-hole platters, I'll attach it to the opposite side from the already installed swivel. Next, I'll take my 2 jump rings and install the swivel in between. I found that the kitchen knife works quite well for spreading the jump rings. In order to get the swivel started. The further you push the jump ring down your kitchen knife, the wider open it gets. And once I've got it started, I can force it on around. Fat fingers in little pieces here. My jewelry pliers can be helpful in this exercise. Okay, so we have a swivel installed in between our 2 jump rings. Now attach the other end of one of the pieces of the chain to the small jump ring. So there we have our top one. Now I'll attach the other end of the chains to the remaining 2 swivels. Next, I'll take the remaining single link and attach it to the swivel of one of the 2-hole platters. Over crimp that a little bit. And then taking the other end, I'll take a remaining 1-hole platter and attach it to the other side of the link. So as you can begin to see, we're starting to get all of the necessary elements required to put things together. Starting at the top with the platter with the fishing swivels on it, I'm going to thread the swivel onto the top ring in our hanger. Then I'll take the next platter and its swivel and thread it onto the bottom ring. And then I'll take our next arm and thread the next swivel onto our top ring, and the next 2-hole platter onto our bottom ring. So we have the 2-hole platters all connected together with the 1-hole platter on the end. And next, we'll add the 1-hole platters to the ends of the arms and tighten our loop so that they won't come off. It takes quite a bit of effort with the stainless steel to get those loops closed. And we'll continue on down the line, adding the single hole platters that remain to our respective arms. Okay, so we're done. I'll hang it outside in the sunshine, and we can all party on.